I'd like to give you the Back to the Gap update. It is the start of the new fiscal year for the federal government, and for those of y'all that are in tune to that, so we have a fresh new year. The good news to report is that it looks like once again Fort Indiantown Gap has easily cruised to be the most utilized National Guard installation in the United States. So I think that's something we can all be very proud of. The upcoming year will have many major exercises. Starting at the end of this month, we'll start building about the 27th of October for our Division Warfighter simulation exercise. That's going to draw about 5,000 people to the Lebanon Valley, to the Gap, to take part in that exercise. We're putting a lot of effort into it. That's going to be a way in the future for Fort Indiantown Gap. It's going to be part of our normal business to have these big division level exercises, so we'll have a successful exercise. I think it'll have a great impact on the northern Lebanon area as far as bringing influxes of business to the area, and go on with that. A very critical piece of training as we go forward. Another piece of good news: on the 28th of September, Capital Region Water and our partners, the Woodburn Wildlife Foundation and the Nature Conservancy, signed the final easement deed for the Clarks Valley that saved 8,000 acres in perpetuity. It was a wonderful mix of preserving a watershed, a water source, preserving natural lands, and the military aspect of it is that it is giving us free areas, free of encumberment or encroachment with anything that'll deter us from flying helicopters over the St. Anthony's Wilderness. So we're going to continue on with our ACUB program. That's the Army Conservation Use Buffer Program. Woodburn Wildlife Foundation is our primary partner that negotiates with willing landowners that want to put their properties into a conservation easement that preserves their property in the current state forever, and it frees us from any kind of encroachment that'll affect our operations. And that's a force multiplier, as I like to call it, for the Gap. The Army tends to look at the future battle, or the current battle, the future battle, the way in the future battle. This is a means that the Army funds these programs because they're looking at decisions that are made to keep bases free of encroachment that go generational. I think it's a real good thing, and we're at a very strong start with that, with the ACUB, with the acquisition of the development conservation easement on the Clarks Valley, so we'll continue on. Some of that is going to occur along our boundaries, more in Lebanon County. We have some great local partners, Lebanon Valley Land Conservancy that we're working with, many other people, so hopefully we'll continue to report back good successes with that. With that said, as far as what I'd like to term the big boom training to our neighbors, we'll have live fire training on the 14th and the 15th of this month. That'll be light demolitions. Then from the 30th through the 31st, we're going to have some artillery fire. That's the extent of the loud, beyond our borders type training that our neighbors are so gracious that they put up with that. So, pending any of your questions, sir? Yes, ma'am.
I was curious, what are the boundaries of Clarks Valley? I'm not familiar with that term.
Clarks Valley is, you go over with it starts at the second mountain. In other words, you come off through north Fort Indiantown Gap. You go through the second mountain is the edge of the gap. Then you have Stony Valley. Then there's another valley beyond that, and that's where the DeHart Reservoir is. That's just if you've never been out there and you enjoy nature, that is just a absolutely gorgeous piece of property out there.
Okay, I've been there, so that's it?
That's it, that
Okay.
entire valley all the way. It's over 8,000 acres, so that's a considerable piece of property.
Yeah, it is.
That's when you kind of put the synergy of all that land out there. There's so much great public land out there, starting with state game lands into the Clarks Valley, where there's a cooperative agreement between State Game Commission, Fish and Boat Commission for free public access out there to go fishing, to go enjoy nature, to go hunting. This kind of solidifies that it'll keep that area just free and pristine. Our interest in it, as far as the National Guard goes, that is what we call our northern training areas. That's where the bulk of our low-level night vision flying goes on. With military aviation, and specifically Army aviation, the ability to train our pilots to fly at night in night vision goggles is crucial.
Without all the skylights.
Yes, ma'am, and that is our chief concern. As residential development gets in there, it lights up the sky, and then it deters that type of training. So,
You're still number 2 in heliport
yes, sir,
in the country.
in the country.
That's
I mean, that's
amazing.
That's how big of an aviation operation that goes out there. When you've been in this business as long as I have, know a lot of Army aviators, it's amazing to me, since I was transferred up here, how many from other states know the Gap so well, and they did a lot of their flight training occurred up here for various systems, and very, very critical training to the Guard that occurs there.
And a great community asset.
Yes, sir.
So, well, thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Dave.